Nick Saban issues statement on DJ Durkin's involvement with Alabama. You had to know this was coming. Earlier this week, a report surfaced that former Maryland head coach has been in what was described as a consultant-like capacity ahead of its playoff game against Oklahoma later this month. Given Durkin's controversial exit from College Park, the report raised more than a few eyebrows. In light of the mini firestorm that erupted, Alabama Friday night issued a statement attributed to in which the head football coach of the Crimson Tide addressed the level of Durkin's involvement with his football program. Durkin, two members of the training staff and then head strength and conditioning coach were in early August after a bombshell report alleged mishandling of the medical event that preceded the death of Maryland offensive lineman and detailed what was described as within the football program. That report described the toxic culture under Durkin as one based on fear, intimidation, belittling, humiliation and embarrassment. Players were, allegedly, routinely subjected to what was described as extreme verbal abuse that included, in part, obscenity-laced epithets meant to mock their masculinity. On October 30, it was confirmed that Durkin would remain as the Terrapins' head coach. The next day, and amidst an avalanche of criticism from, and, U of M, College Park president announced that Durkin had been. Everybody deserves a second chance, although one can debate the merits of giving that second chance so close to a coach's first chance cut short, in part, by the death of one of his football players. Personally, I don't know what length of penance should be served, but it just feels like less than 2 months is not nearly enough. As if there was ever any doubt, players are more important than coaches in college football. Despite the fact the majority of his coaching staff bailed early, Utah State rolled over and overmatched an undermanned North Texas team, cruising to a 52-13 win in the New Mexico Bowl presented by Progressive. The win was a fitting close to one of the best seasons in school history for Utah State. The Aggies, 11-2, tied a school record for wins and will likely become the fourth team in school history to finish the season ranked in the AP poll, joining AS 1960-61 teams that went a combined 18-3-1 and S 2012 squad that also won 11-2. The points started early for the Aggies, finding pay dirt on their third play of the game, a 72-yard strike from 2, and ripped off 31 unanswered points over the first and second quarters to break the game open for good. In addition to the 72-yarder to open the game, Utah State scored touchdowns from 26, 37 and 67 yards in the first half, plus another score on a 10-play, 78-yard drive, as the nation's number 3 scoring offense played to its paper throughout the day. Love completed 21 of 43 passes for 361 yards with 4 touchdowns, plus 1 rushing, and an interception inside the UNT end zone that robbed him of a 6th score, while combined to rush 37 times for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. In all, the Aggies rolled up 556 yards of total offense, 360 of them in the first half. As the score indicates, the game was a complete nightmare for North Texas. The Mean Green entered the game without leading receiver, 1,017 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns, and played the majority of the day without franchise quarterback. Visibly hobbled by a bum hamstring, Fine threw only 12 passes and left the game in the second quarter when he had to limp his way to recover an errant snap, a theme for UNT during the game, near his own goal line. Fine was replaced by senior backup, who completed 2 of 8 passes for 24 yards with 3 interceptions. Schomburg was replaced by freshman, whose only completion in his 2 passes was to Utah State safety, setting up a field goal on the final play of the half that pushed UNT's deficit to 38-7. Fellow freshman played the bulk of the second half, and hit for a 75-yard touchdown on his first pass. After that throw, Martin went 6 of 11 for 36 yards. The loss served as a bitter end to a bittersweet season for North Texas. Though the Mean Green, 9-4, increased or matched their win total for the third time in as many seasons under, North Texas saw 3 double-digit leads turn into losses and then closed with a second consecutive bowl loss in which the opponent hit half 100, following a. It's hard to state definitively whether it's the matchups, the locale or the gorgeous color-on-color uniform combination, but the Las Vegas Bowl frequently delivers some of the best early bowl season viewing, and the 2018 installment is no different. Number 21 Fresno State and Arizona State are tied 17-17 at the half in the desert. The Bulldogs jumped out to a 10-0 lead 10 minutes when stepped in front of a pass and returned it 70 yards for a touchdown, but the Sun Devils responded with consecutive touchdown drives. The first scoring drive was almost all Wilkins, as he rushed or passed on the final 7 snaps of a 9-play, 65-yard drive, culminating in a 3-yard scoring toss to. After forcing a Fresno State 3-and-out, Arizona State took the lead when covered the final 30 yards on an 8-play, 58-yard march. Benjamin's 17-yard touchdown run not only gave his team the lead, it handed him the Arizona State single-season rushing record at 1,585 yards. Fresno State answered with a 9-play, 75-yard drive, 7 of them runs. Ran for gains of 19 and 15 yards to open the drive, then quarterback finished the drive with a 10-yard keeper, putting the Bulldogs back in front at 17-14 with 8:03 left in the first half. Arizona State consumed nearly the remainder of the half, piecing together a marathon 17-play, 72-minute drive. Rather than go for a 4th and goal from the 2-yard line, opted for a 20-yard field goal with 51 seconds left in the first half. Excluding kneel downs, Fresno State ran only 24 plays in the first half. McMarron was 6 of 12 for 76 yards with a rushing touchdown, while Rivers carried 9 times for 54 yards. Wilkins was good outside of his pick six, hitting 14 of 18 passes for 111 yards with a touchdown while rushing 6 times for 24 yards. Benjamin led all runners with 14 carries for 92 yards and a touchdown. Arizona State will receive to open the second half. Tulane, 7-6, opened the 2018-2019 bowl season in college football by recording the first bowl victory for the school since 2002. Tulane defeated Louisiana, 7-7, in the AutoNation Cure Bowl in Orlando on Saturday afternoon, 41-24. Tulane had a 24-10 lead at halftime but started to feel pressure from Louisiana as the Ragin' Cajuns battled back in the second half, cutting the Tulane lead to 27-24 early in the fourth quarter. But just when it seemed as though Tulane may let one slip through their fingers, a pair of fourth down gambles paid off in a big way. On 4th and 7 from the Louisiana 30-yard line, decided to go for a first down and was rewarded with completing a 15-yard pass to keep the drive going. A few plays later, scored a 4-yard touchdown to give Tulane a 2-score lead. After the defense came through with a quick series, Tulane once again faced a 4th and 7 that worked out for the best. McMillan put the game away with just over 3 minutes to play on a keeper for a 16-yard touchdown run to extend Tulane's lead to a 17-point margin on a 4th and 7. One last offensive gasp by Louisiana came to an end with an interception in the end zone by. Despite a pair of turnovers, Tulane was called for just one 5-yard penalty in the game and the Green Wave outgained Louisiana 483-258. Bradwell rushed for a game-high 150 yards with 2 scores and McMillan combined for a pair of touchdowns in the win. The defense was a big factor in the first half, allowing just over 100 yards of offense before halftime despite giving up 75 yards on the first drive of the game. Louisiana scored a touchdown on the game's opening possession but then struggled to move the ball against the Tulane defense until the second half. Prior to Saturday's win in the Cure Bowl, Tulane's last bowl victory came in the 2002 Hawaii Bowl. This was the second bowl victory for Fritz, who previously won his only bowl game coached at Georgia Southern before coming to Tulane. Fritz is 2-0 in bowl games. Tulane will head into 2019 season looking to take another step forward as a program as Fritz enters his 4th year on the job. The Green Wave have improved their win total each year with Fritz as the head coach as Tulane continues to try building itself into a contender in the AAC. The 2019 season will begin on August 31, 2019 at home against FIU, followed by a road trip to Auburn the following week. Tulane will get home games in conference play against Houston and UCF and will make road trips to Memphis, Navy, and Temple as part of the conference schedule. Louisiana will get to open their 2019 season in New Orleans with a matchup against Mississippi State on August 31, 2019. The Ragin' Cajuns also get home games against Liberty and Texas Southern in non-conference play and will get some big Sun Belt games at home against Appalachian State, Troy and rival ULM. Louisiana will travel to Arkansas State and Georgia Southern in the Sun Belt schedule next fall as well, with conference dates to be announced. Utah State is without head coach and 6 of his assistant coaches, but quarterback, running back and the rest of the Aggies players are still in uniform, and that has proven more than enough so far at the New Mexico Bowl. Utah State leads North Texas 38-7 at the half in Albuquerque. Love completed 13 of 26 passes for 248 yards and 3 touchdowns while Bright carried 7 times for 59 yards and a touchdown, allowing the Aggies to roll up 360 yards of total offense in the half. The Aggies' offense started rolling early. On a 3rd and 7 on the game's opening possession, Love found for a 72-yard touchdown toss. After 2 punts and a North Texas score, Utah State started in UNT territory after a 48-yard kickoff return, and 5 plays later Bright strolled in untouched for a 26-yard touchdown run. Most of Utah State's scores came via explosive plays. Love again found Vaughns, this time from 37 yards out, to put the Aggies up 28-7, and then hit for an easy 67-yard pitch and catch score to push the lead to 35-7 at the 8:55 mark of the second quarter. While Utah State's offense did anything and everything it wanted, the UNT offense sputtered without its two most important players. The Mean Green entered the game without leading receiver, 68 catches for 1,017 yards and 12 touchdowns, and played most of the game without quarterback. He was visibly hobbled by a hamstring issue and left the game for good when he could not run after an errant snap. A theme for the Mean Green sailed over his head. Senior backup replaced Fine and went 2 of 7 for 24 yards and 2 interceptions, and he was replaced by freshman, whose second pass was intercepted and returned 31 yards by Utah State's to the UNT 48-yard line. That final pick led to yet another Utah State score, a 42-yard field goal as time expired in the first half. Fine did manage to engineer one North Texas scoring drive. Aided by 2 Utah State personal fouls, the Mean Green moved 78 yards in 10 plays to tie the score at 7-7 at the 2:52 mark of the first quarter. Barring a miraculous turnaround, that will go down as the high point of the day for the Mean Green.